Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is AJ Wrights Crypto. Super excited to get into this interview today because here with me today is no other than Gary Cardone. First of all, Gary, thanks so much for being here. I'm a big fan. Lucky enough to meet you at Consensus. Really glad we made that connection. But, for anyone out there who doesn't know who you are, please give just, a quick abbreviated background about yourself for the audience so they can appreciate, like the level of interview we're about to have.
Well, I hate to disappoint, but I'm just a regular guy that got really lucky and I work hard, man.
Okay.
So I identify myself as the guy that was in the right place at the right time. And I had the observation skills to know it. So I think if people just slow down a little bit and look around, I've been fortunate enough to be in 4 or 5 different industries and on 2 continents. And I keep thinking I've seen the great tsunami of all disruptive changes. And every 10 years, dude, I see another one that's bigger, richer, deeper, wider. And this one, King Kong, Godzilla, Jesus Christ, and God the Almighty combined, dude, in one little big package that's hitting the entire globe. So if you can't make money and find a career in this space, there's just something fundamentally wrong with the thought process. This may be the greatest career employment opportunity with the least amount of requirements needed ever in the history of mankind. It's staggering why anyone would send anyone to school for the next 4 years. They will miss the greatest education in the literally 4 years. We will miss the entire value of educating anything. It's just going to be totally unnecessary.
That's a great take. That's a great, think of the money you're going to spend on college and the money you could have made by just paying attention to this industry for 20 seconds. That's a really hot take. And, Gary, I know you have a lifetime of investing history, from real estate, gold, stocks, and everything in between. At what point in time did you realize that blockchain was just undeniable?
I didn't have that realization. Okay. If you notice, I don't use the word blockchain hardly ever.
Sure.
And the reason is I think this is really confusing. We don't know. I don't need blockchain to make my investment thesis on Bitcoin work.
Okay, so maybe pivot the question. At what point in time did you realize Bitcoin was undeniable?
Well, that came easier, but the point I'm trying to make is that it dawned on me that I remember, you see this little phone I got right here, right? Now, 2 years from now, I don't think I'm going to have this telephone. Now, when I was 26 or 28, I had a phone that was this big. Dude, and I thought I was fucking Superman, 007. Okay, my man Flint, all wrapped in one. I'm pretty sure that if you can compress 40,000 videos and audio files into that thing, think about this as we're compressing data massively, like kryptonite, right? Like Superman. Well, guess what? Once you start enabling the ability to compress that much data, now our whole lives change. Okay. And so I use the analogy, am I ever going to listen to music on an 8-track tape again? Well, you may not even remember what an 8-track tape is. I do. Okay. And it's for the old people, dude, there's no way we're going backwards. We never go backwards. So think of the digital thing as, we've been working on this 50 years, dude. We have been working on going cryptology for 50 years, just like AI. And it's all hitting right now. And that's why I look at Nvidia as a precursor. We were talking about it, of where we're headed. So to me, we're digitizing. This is an easier way to think of it is we're digitizing planet Earth. Okay. Everything, postal, communications, emails. I don't take emails anymore, dude. I think emails are vastly broken. Okay. What do I want? I want small, short, encrypted messages. If you don't have my cell phone, I don't really want to talk to you. Right. So I get emails that are totally inefficient. I want you to buy some ice cream. What kind of ice cream? When do you want it? This has completely defeated the purpose of what we have, right? And I think we're basically moving from a world of being in a cave with, I'm pretty sure we're not going to paint with blood from a deer pictures on big stone walls in human environments in the middle of the, Saharan desert, right? That's probably not going to happen anymore. So therefore, we probably don't need stone and deer blood as writing materials, nor do we need Excel spreadsheets, dude.
Right.
We may not need Intel before this is done, or IBM. There's a lot of things that companies are being left behind in this digital chasm that's being filled. If we're leaping off, dude. We're leaping off into digit land. These two worlds are not going to co-survive. There'll be a time when I'm not allowed on the road, dude. It's either the robots have to go or Gary has to go, right? Because I become the variable.
Right. Yeah. So, and this is an analogy that I've made before. Like, think, like you said, the evolution of music, right? The 8 tracks, the cassette tapes, the CDs, the iPods, streaming. Well, that is happening with money. It would not just with everything, but specifically money. And think about, how fast the evolution of, like, say, video games were, 20 years ago, N64, really bad graphics, to where it is now. It's just going to keep getting more and more ridiculous, and it's going to happen on the charts. It's going to happen with money and how everyone perceives it as well. And I'm glad you touched on Nvidia there. We did have a nice little conversation, before we went live here, and I want to get into your thoughts on crypto and Bitcoin, Ethereum, and everything. But can you delve a little bit more into what we were talking about in terms of Nvidia before we went live?
Yeah, sure. Well, I just pulled this chart up, and I think this is a very instructive equity position. Nvidia is a $3 trillion business effective yesterday. Now, it's important to keep in mind Nvidia is a 20. I'm going to do a comparison of Nvidia and Bitcoin, okay? Because I think Nvidia, first off, it's a 25-year-old company. If I can just get this chart I owned this stock 3 years ago at $70 and had to sell it for margin calls. But literally 3 years ago, I owned this at $70, like a lot of people did, right in here. Wow. Let's see, where we were about $70 is right here. This is February 2020. Okay. Stock was at $55 to $70, 25-year-old company. Bitcoin's 15 years old, no marketing, no sales department, no general consensus. They're not in the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange. They're not in every fund, okay? Bitcoin's like this little tiny child, okay, trying to, without any father, really, just a father that's dead or died or left him. And it's got a bunch of uncles all screaming like tribalism and, end of the world Mad Max. And then they got more. I think I'm fairly reasonable. I think I'm actually probably like extremely reasonable in how Bitcoin's going to roll out. But also I think I'm one of the most confident people in my belief system. More confident, I think, than the guys that started this 15 years ago that have made a lot of money. Some have made a lot of money, and some made a lot of money and lost it. But if you look at this company here, this company has moved. Let me get rid of this stuff here if I can. All my little comments.
This is a weekly chart?
This is a weekly chart. Yeah, if you notice with me, in fact, this is a little, oops, don't want you to see that. This is a little trick that I do. See, I never look at daily minute charts or anything like that, right? Because I'm in this thing for 4 years. I just don't do the 12-day deal, right? I've never seen anybody make money that way. But this company has done $2 trillion right here since $469, roughly $1.5 trillion, the exact same size of Bitcoin. So you see this little yellow line? This yellow line is exactly where Bitcoin is today. Okay, that was May 1 year ago.
Wow.
It has moved to a $1.5 trillion. That's a $75,000 green candle in a year. Guess what we just saw, dude? We just saw $57,000 this year. Okay, now we've never seen Bitcoin have a green candle over $8,000 or $9,000. I'm predicting if this can happen to Nvidia, $250 billion market cap changes over 3 days. One day, $250 million, another $250 billion, another like a month later, another $250 billion. And then yesterday we just blew right past Apple, and it's $300 million knocking on Microsoft's butt.
Wow.
Now, this is a hardware company, dude, that has literally obliterated Intel off the map. I think this price, one, they're not even in the S&P 500 yet. When they go in the S&P 500, dude, everybody and their brother has to own this as a part of the fund. So we're at $3 trillion, and it has human error risk. It has monopoly risk, like you read about. They own 82% of the market, and their margins are over 70%. Every regulator on the planet is going to be bitching at these guys. They probably have an overwhelming controlling interest in the equipment itself, which is like will become a security issue. So I see this as a monopoly that has massive regulatory exposure sitting in the United States. And I compare it to Bitcoin because I think Bitcoin's a monopoly too, but it has no regulatory risk whatsoever, freaking ever. Zero, dude. No mailing address, no human error, no DOJ contact details, no SEC, FTC, NBC, whatever you want. There is nobody to call it BTC.
Right.
So I have for 40 years been competing with monopolies. Dude, imagine if you're Michael Saylor and you're looking at this. You're going, oh my God, Nvidia, I can't compete anymore. This is why he moved into Bitcoin. And if you notice the people moving into Bitcoin, look past all the information. Look at the type of character that's moving here. Look beyond what Novogratz says or Saylor said. Dude, they were all getting run out of their own businesses, just like me. In the payments business, I'm like, shit, dude, every year goes by, it's feeling harder and harder. Okay. There's more exposure every year. Visa and MasterCard get bigger and bigger by the moment. So you're constantly having to pay. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, great Visa. Appreciate you letting me into the party this year. Right. Always thinking you're going to get debunked from the industry, and you're making $100 million a year. So, yeah, dude, I think this chart, Nvidia goes to $4 trillion, dude. And it will do it in short order because people are going to figure out this world is going to leave so many players behind. Okay. And it's, in fact, I was just talking to one of my staff about, there's a whole band of people. I was looking at my demographics in my audience. I'm like, oh my God, dude, this demographic between 18 and 48, extremely exposed. You guys are the most exposed people I've ever seen in my life in a cataclysmic event for as far as jobs. Yeah. So it's yeah, so that's my thesis. I mean, look at micro strategy, right? Now just look at this chart and similar, right? They're starting to look all similar to.
Yeah, they all start to look the same over time. That's true.
Yeah.
Wow. that was a lot to unpack there. So I know this channel is like primarily crypto, but I do always keep an eye on the S&P. I know like correlation is not causation, but I always keep an eye on the S&P, charts like Nvidia or like the ES1, things like that. And I feel like as time goes on and as Wall Street gets more and more integrated with crypto, the Bitcoin ETF, the Ethereum ETF, who knows what ETF comes next. I feel like my case is I kind of feel like the correlation will grow stronger to the stock market over time. Do you have a take on that while we're on this topic?
Well, I think I would differentiate between Bitcoin and crypto personally. I think Bitcoin's going to have its own life. Bitcoin, really Bitcoin to me is its own asset and its own asset class.
Got
To
it.
me, I would bifurcate these for this audience, bro.
Sure.
Bitcoin, it enjoys its own little real estate position. And then there's everything else. Good luck. I'm sure some of them will make it, but this story about them having utilitarian value, like you have a vision that may happen, and you're suggesting that the utility value in that future world is going to be paid for. They all sound like visions to me, tied to tokens. I mean, I have a vision that Node 40 is going to be the standard by which all accounting is done on crypto. And if I'm alive, it's probably going to come true, but it's a vision,
Sure.
right? So I'm raising money at 50 million. These tokens have the same vision. They're raising money at $1 billion. I don't really get it.
Right.
So do I think these two worlds converge? I think the equity and bond market is going to move into the digital world, because what this thing that Larry Fink's discussing about moving and creating a new Wall Street market in Texas, bro, that's a deal.
Yeah,
it's a real deal. Okay, it's really important, and he's following through with why he's in Bitcoin. You guys think he's front running Bitcoin? He doesn't care about Bitcoin, really. He cares about tokenizing planet Earth, which is code for digitizing planet Earth, right? We just go right back. Hey, we're turning everything into a photo, dude. Everything's going to be an image now, right?
Yeah.
So in equities, my brother does a deal for $1 billion and he pays $500,000 in fees. Okay, I sell my house for $10 million and somebody wants $1 million.
Yeah.
In commissions for what? For nothing. I mean, for putting people together. So that whole club, all of these club constructs, the real estate market. I'm not a big believer in the NFT real estate thing today. I think the NFT real estate for residential will be a thing one day, but I think you need to get through equities and bonds and mutual fund. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff, man.
The middleman certainly has to go. I feel like that's the common denominator in a lot of industries, is that, like you said, if I sell my house for $10 million, someone's getting $1 million. Like, why is that? And I really think that's like kind of, we are kind of jumping around the questions that I have for you here, but there's a question on
all of my interviews.
No, it's all good, because you kind of answer some of the questions I have along the way, which is very convenient, actually. And I am going to jump to this one first. Obviously, I know you're a big Bitcoin guy. I also learned recently in the Altcoin Daily video that you have 11 Ethereum. Other outside
11.4.
11.4. I stand corrected. And I have to ask, do you have exposure to any other altcoins?
I do.
Okay.
I do not. They're not big. First off, I run these books very differently. Okay. I have a Bitcoin book, which is very large, not nearly large enough, I will tell you. But it's larger than most people. I think I have done a really good job of climbing in. I had to climb out of the hole and then I had to climb back in the hole. So I've had 2 goes at this. And I've been able to replenish my entire position plus about 150% at a reduced price. So it worked out great. I was not one of the early guys at $12. Okay. My first purchase was at 8,000. Didn't do monster size, bought a lot of gold at that time at, I think, 1,100. Sold all my gold, converted it to Bitcoin back at 1,900 about a year ago. And then as I got fat with Bitcoin, as I got a position that was big enough, I bought some miners. I think those are altcoins. See, to me, we make mistakes going, oh, I'm going to go chase Dogecoin. I actually own some Dogecoin, and I'll walk you through that scenario. But when I am in this business, right? So it's kind of good. Like I owned XRP. I sold it the other day and converted it to Bitcoin. It's trash. It's a piece of shit. Its chart's a crap piece of crap. And that's all I look at it. I don't care about the narrative. Dude, this is not performing well. Cut it, move on. I don't have to fish in every stream in the river on the planet, dude. I have to use my bait correctly. You guys are jumping around. I mean, I don't know how you guys are going to get laid. You're so busy looking for the next chick, you're not even paying attention to the one you got. So I own my the Doge. Now XRP, it was $2,000 XRP. These are tiny positions, okay? They're irrelevant. I own a shitload of Solana. Had no clue what I was doing. But if you like Ethereum, which I don't, I mean, I started looking at it and going, dude, I prefer Solana over Ethereum. If I'm going to take human error risk, I'd rather take it at $97 or $150 than at $3,000.
Sure.
Okay, because if Ethereum works, Solana is going to roll. And I think that if Ethereum breaks down, which it looks like it might be, Solana might do okay. Funny enough.
That's funny.
Okay, so, but like, dude, this is a $500,000 position. So I'm very, very transparent with people. I'm not giving anyone advice. I'm sharing what I am doing with my book. Now, does me owning $500,000 worth of Solana make me an evil human being? First off, I didn't put $500,000 into it. I bought this stuff at $97. Okay, so like, I don't trim my like when something's running and winning, I don't get rid of it. I hold on to it and keep adding a little bit. That's what a pro does.
Sure.
Now I will not hold that position forever. So now, like, what have you heard me say? Hey, in one side of the screen, I'm in Bitcoin for the next 4+ years. Solana is a short-term position for me. I made a bunch of money, but I would not get married to Solana. Not a freaking chance. Okay, it's probably not going to survive this. Okay, this is an industry. I was just talking to a guy, one of my other businesses. This is a type of industry where Big Cat Daddy might just take it all, dude. Like, there might not be enough room. I mean, no, seriously. I mean, like with the Node 40 business, I think that's a business. Totally, one player wins it all if you approach it correctly. Bitcoin is a beast, man. The money that's coming into this market, we've had 11 or 18 days of inflows. I think at least 11 positive days of inflows.
Yesterday was really big too. Yeah.
This is the beginning. This is literally working. I'm not saying that I predicted all this, but I interviewed enough people and understood how the money was going to move into this market. The smallest money has come into this ETF. And it's literally going up the food chain. Because, well, down the ocean, think about, okay, we're going to start with all the RIAs and the investment. The RIAs aren't even here yet, dude. These are the edge case investment houses. These are the more aggressive people that manage middle income type income. In the next 4 months, I think every Congress and senator, every governor and mayor is going to open their Fidelity account and go, oh, shit, dude, I own $200,000 worth of Bitcoin. Yeah. Then what? Vote against that one, baby.
Right.
Because they're all going to be up 100%, dude.
Exactly.
These people entered the price at 40. It's at 71 right now. Who's going to shoot this thing in the head? You're going to get the attention of everyone now. I mean, and it happens this year. And now what are we seeing? $1 billion. Dude, these are real players now. This is the real money. This other money, there was 994 companies that stuck at least 100 million into Bitcoin's ETF last quarter. We found out about last week. 994. Bro, nobody would have gotten close to suggesting that number. I'm on Mark Yuska, Dan Tapir. I'm like, hey, guys, did any one of you motherfuckers think it was 900 fucking companies, dude? Doing 100 million, and the state of Wisconsin doing over 100 on its balance sheet? And everybody like, yeah, I knew. Nobody knew. Okay. Nobody knew. Bloomberg didn't know. BlackRock didn't know. Fidelity didn't know. ARK didn't know. Right. No one understands Bitcoin, dude. All these guys, power modeling prices. Fuck your models. All of you Harvard guys, dude.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
You can't model this, dude. This is infinite. Yep. Price is infinite. Product is finite. No one's ever modeled that, ever.
And, you know, this kind of lines up perfectly. Your recent Altcoin Daily video, first of all, that was a really great interview. And I just had an interview with them as well. So big shout out to Aaron and Austin at Altcoin Daily. But during that interview, you kind of hinted at these, you know, certain metrics that, you know, kind of led you to this conclusion that there's like a massive amount of capital on the sidelines that will, eventually find its way to Bitcoin? Can you shed some light on those metrics and, what it means for the bull run?
Well, when you say metrics, look, I think what's happening now actually would build the case that we're now in full on game theory.
Sure.
And game theory, for the audience that don't know this term, it's particularly, I think, sensitive to Bitcoin because of the global applications of Bitcoin that aren't really tied to America. I mean, we're such narcissistic people isolated on our own little island of 350 million people, 5% of the population. We take up 25% of all the energy used on this planet. Okay. Out of 8 billion people, 350 million use 20% of it. We think this is the center of the world, but in fact, 12.5 to 15% of Bitcoin is tied into the US market. The rest of it's global. Okay. We've never seen this before. The United States in the last 150 years has not ever not been in control of an industry this large. Steel, copper, natural gas, crude oil. Just go down the list, dude. E-commerce, technology, rockets, defense, right? Whoa, all of a sudden, shit, dude, what the hell is happening here? Change is going on so fast, we don't know what to do. BlackRock's only been around 20 years, dude. He's an outsider. You guys all think he's the criminal Wall Street insider. He's an outsider, dude. He didn't grow up on Wall Street. He's breaking Wall Street apart, I think. And these people are animals, okay? And they're animals in the way that I like. I like these guys. Like, I love competing with people on Wall Street. They never send you cease and desist letters. They never call regulators on you. They don't whine like little babies. They're professionals. And you can go trade with them. If they get it wrong, they don't call you up and, send you lawsuits. They're like, okay, let's trade another day. Made a mistake. You clearly have, your audience doesn't know this, but if you're like me and you can get close to Wall Street, you see the talent moving into the area. The intellectual talent coming into the area is like, okay, what happens when you put a bunch of brains into an area? What happened when they did the Manhattan Project? Hey, let's stick a bunch of people in a room, dude. Figure out how to do this really fast. Yeah. Boom, they did it. So you get 1,000 people coming out of all sorts of different industries to tackle this next generation of how we're going to live, which is AI, robots, digital assets, everything, token it all, measure, quantify, get a proper ROI. Advertising that's been ripping everybody's heads off is going to be exposed as one of the biggest scams ever. Right. So like, we're going to be able to make the world much, much more efficient. I don't know that all the middlemen go away, but if you're not adding value in the value chain in the future, bye-bye margin. Right. Okay. And it's simply bye-bye margin. If the margin, I tell people, look, if you're in a job and you don't know what that company does to bring value, I'd start looking for a new job. And if you're in a job and you can't tell me exactly what value you bring to that company, start looking for a job, because value is going to be like, that's all I care about. I don't care about numbers, price. I care about value. I don't care if I would rather pay you $250,000, young man, than 100. I don't want to pay you 100. You're a problem at 100. At $250,000, you become a professional. Like, okay, cool. I don't get sick days. I don't hear bullshit from AJ. He's not ending up in jail with all these problems. That's a pro, dude. Once we have that player in the market, you guys all have to grow up, because I ain't going anywhere. And there's going to be more guys like me that come in here, and you want them here.
For sure.
This makes this world awesome, dude. If you call me a suit, you guys need more suits. Okay. If you think I'm a suit, you probably want to get close to me, dude, because all I've been doing is competing with suits. And I don't call them suits, okay? I call them people with fucking monster balance sheets. Yes, sir. Let's go to dinner, my man. What can I learn from you? And how can I tap into $1 billion because they're not going to know how to do it, dude. Like, these people are going to all be like, if you guys just, we were talking earlier, y'all need to play this with a longer game in mind. Okay. Y'all look at this golf game like it's three tees, dude.
Right.
And then by like the third tee, y'all are all cracked out of your mind, blown out. You can't even, got no money left. This is a long trade, bro. This is the greatest long trade I've ever seen in my life.